Hello everyone and welcome to Heather's Happy Stitches. I'm Heather, the human behind the camera, not the cat on the chair. And you're probably wondering why you're looking at a random cat grooming herself. It is more for the chair than the cat, but she refused to move. So this is the picture I got. So anyway, for Christmas, I got some Lion Brand Woolies yarn. It is a 80% acrylic, 20% wool yarn, and I've watched a couple tutorials about dyeing yarn, and it said that the 80% acrylic, 20% wool could be dyed, although the colors won't come out as vibrant as if you were doing just plain wool. So, but I wanted to try it, and I wanted to invite you along with me. So the first thing we are going to do, according to the tutorials that I watched, is make the skein into a hank. And that is what the chair is for. So what we're going to do is, she'll jump off eventually, maybe, if she gets dizzy enough. So I'm going to uncoil a mess that I have from trying to find the center ball, or the center pull. I'm going to take the end and just tuck it in right here. Can you see that? Right here. So that it doesn't go anywhere. Let me tilt it a little bit. Right there. So that it doesn't go anywhere while I'm spinning the chair. And then we're just slowly, since this is a swivel chair, I'm just going to slowly rotate the chair so that the wool or the yarn winds onto a hank, into a hank. This cat is Cleo, by the way. She's my baby. So all I'm doing is I'm holding my hank, or my skein, just by the ends and the center pull, and I'm just turning the chair, oops, and it is gently coming out onto the chair. It's very easy. I mean, if I didn't have a rotating chair, it might be a little more annoying trying to do this. So the inspiration behind me trying to dye the yarn is I have been watching a lot of dyeing experiment / tutorials from Chemnitz, or Chemnitz. I'm not sure how she pronounces it, but she does a lot of really cool experiments. And I've seen her dye acrylic wool blends before. so I knew it could be done, but I just don't know if it can be done by me. Alright, so now I'm at the end here. Oh, Cleo. And now I'm just going to keep track of this one. Put it here. Can you see that? And get it between my fingers. And then the other one should be right here. So I'm just going to keep track of those and keep them together. And now I'm just going to wriggle this off the chair. Alright, so the first thing we are going to need to do is separate the yarns into three sections, and making sure we get as much into sections as possible. So we got 1, 2, 3 sections. And the way that I've seen it done is the first one is under the first section, over the second section, and under the third section, and then come out on the bottom. And then with this half of it, you go over the first section, under the middle section. Let me make sure I got it all in there. Under the middle section. Okay, so take this part over the first section, under the second section, and over the third section. So now, because we got the ends here, we're just going to put all 4 bits together, and we're just going to tie a knot. One, 2, just like that. Alright. So now we are going to turn and do it again with the next piece. So we're going to cut it into 3 sections. 1, 2, 3. And then under, over, under, and then over, under, over. And then with these two, Just tie a wee knot. There. So I'm going to put 4 more ties in here, and when I'm all done with that, I will show you the next step as far as I understand what it is. Alright, so the next step is going to be the pre-soaking. So I just got a bowl full of water, and I'm going to gently, so I don't make a mess, submerge the yarn into the water. I don't remember if I said, but the black yarn that I used as a divider is 100% acrylic, so it should not gather any dye, and it shouldn't bleed out onto the yarn. So the recommended wait time, oh, this is just regular old tap water. So the recommended time is for 20 to 30 minutes. So we're just going to let it set here for 20 to 30 minutes. And then when that time is about over, we will start the next step so that when I'm just going to say 30 minutes is over, we can just go straight to the pot. Alright, so here I have 20 drops of green food coloring, and it is just the generic Dollar Tree food coloring. And here I have a half a cup of water, and I'm just going to mix my dye into the water. So here I have 5 liters of water. Why so much, you ask? That is because this pot is tall and narrow. So to get all of the dye submerged into it, I needed to have more water. And then for the acid, we are going to use the Great Value distilled white vinegar. And a teaspoon. Yeah. Oops, 1. 2, 3-ish, 4, 5-ish. 5-ish teaspoons. Teaspoon. We're going to mix that all up. I'm going to use my holy spoon. I'm going to dump the mix into it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's not a very saturated green. Probably for this amount of water, I'm going to get a deeper color, I would need more color. But since this yarn is only 20% wool, which is only 20% that will dye, I think this is a good amount. So I haven't started heating up the water yet. It is still just straight out the tap. I'm going to... Now this is an electric stove, so I am going to turn on the hot heat now while I'm doing this stuff on the side, so that once the yarn gets in there, it won't take so long to heat up. So what I'm doing over here is I'm just gently squeezing out the water, because I don't want so much water in it.
Don't put water in it.
Don't put water in it, huh?
Don't put water in it. Hey?
Hey?
Will you feed the kitties tonight?
Yeah. And then I'm just going to quickly, as best as I can, put it in the water. And I'm going to use my spoon to dip it in. So now, because this stove is an electric stove, it's going to take longer to heat up than it would if it would be a gas. So we're just going to let it set here and wait for it to boil or simmer. There is something I wanted to mention while we're waiting for this bad boy to boil, is that the reason I needed so much water is because it is a, can you see it? A super bulky 6-weight yarn. So it's thicker, 2 layers thicker, 2-ply thicker than a worsted weight yarn. I wouldn't have needed this much water for a lighter weight yarn. I just wanted to mention that. If you're wondering why I put so much water into such a big pot for a skein that is 170 grams. Can you see that? Will it focus? Let's see. No focus for you. Let's see. It's 170 grams, 6 ounces, 106 yards, and 97 meters? So, but we're still waiting for it to boil. It's been almost 10 minutes and it still has not, I'm getting a little bubbles as it's like close to a simmer. And it's pretty warm to the touch. So in a couple more minutes I will, when we get a nice good bubble, I will come back and we will turn down the heat and let it simmer. Alrighty. So we are seeing some bubbling action around here. Oh, you can't see that. In here, up in here, which you can't see, none of which you can see. But we're starting to get some bubble action. So we're just going to let it come to a little bit more of a simmer, or I'm going to try for a not rolling boil, but it's hard to predict on an electric oven when a rolling bubble will come, because it comes on so quick. Alright, so a grueling 25 minutes after originally put on, we have a simmer. See right there in the corner here, right here. So I'm going to turn it down before it turns into a rolling boil from a 7 to a 4. And try not to poke at it too much. So lesson learned. Get a thinner yarn. Because this amount of water, goodness, takes forever to boil. So I'm going to just put a lid on it and then just let it cook for 5 minutes, and then we will see what we have. Alright, so we got 5 minutes. And I hope I don't have a felted mess in here. So I think, because, oh, did my camera fog up? Whoopsie daisy, sorry. That's better. So I think because it took so long for the pot to heat up, that I am just going to, even though there is a ton of color left in this water, you can see it. Oh no, it doesn't look that bad. Ow, that's hot. It just looks like a lot. So it's a really light green. Oops, fogged up my camera again. As you can tell, I'm not used to cooking over filming over a stove. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the heat, let the little bit of dye that's left in there hopefully absorb. And since this is an electric stove, I am going to have to remove the burner completely, or I'm going to remove the pot completely from the burner so that it doesn't overcook, basically. So I just moved it over there with the lid on so that it can cool. It is currently 10:41 p.m., 10:42 p.m. in Phoenix. So I'm going to let that set overnight and cool so that it'll be 100% cool in the morning, and then we will rinse it and then we will take it outside to dry. Alright, so this has set overnight. Alright, so this is set overnight. I'm just going to pick it up. As you can see, there's still some green dye left in the pot, but that's okay. And because it's mostly acrylic, I didn't expect it all to go into the pot or into the yarn. And we're just going to put it in our bowl real quick. is just warm water or cool water from the tap. Let's see. A lot of green is coming out. I'm just going to rinse this till the water comes clean. Oh, it's already starting to come clean. So what I'm going to do is I got some mild dish soap and just put a tiny bit on my hand. Alright, so it looks like all the bubbles are... Sorry about that, my battery died. So it looks like all the bubbles are gone. So I don't have a drying rack, so I'm just going to use a cookie grate or a cookie cooling rack to put it on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently pick up an end and then just gently squeeze. And they said not to twist it. Or try not to wring it. I'm just going to turn. Alright, and I'm just going to lay my yarn out on my drying rack. And then I'm going to take this outside because although it is winter in Arizona, it is still 70 degrees outside. So in direct sunlight, still gets pretty dang hot. So we're gonna see if that takes less time to dry. Alright, so I got it sitting outside in the direct sunlight. And we'll see how long it takes to dry out here. So I'm hoping it won't take too long, and I'm hoping the birds won't poop on it or the cats won't get into it. So we can only hope, though. Alright, so here is our finished yarn. It's a little washed out, and it is definitely lighter green than if it had been a full wool yarn, but On the plus side, I did not melt it. In the heat, and it only took like 26 hours for it to dry out all the way. So that's it. And it's a really pretty, like a foam green color. I don't think that helped at all, but it still looks white on camera. I think it looked better in this light. There it is. It's hard to capture the green color, but that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I will use this yarn in a upcoming tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.